The system is failing. We're going to have more homelessness, more unemployment, and the government has to print more money. It's a command and control economy where the government tells you everything. I just don't trust our government. And they're going to have to start printing pretty quickly. And the more they print, the less value, purchasing power the dollar has, or the loonie, or the yen, or the peso. People are talking about inflation. I think we're in depression right now, and we're going to be the biggest depression in world history. In the 1970s, that's when the world was changing. The biggest bust in the history of the world is coming up. It's pensions. They trusted the government. They trusted their pension would be there, and it's going to go bust. And that's us. We get crushed.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today, as XRP has reached 56 cents on the day, up 80% on the week. The XRP army has risen from the ashes. And I think I speak for everyone in the XRP army when I say let's fucking go! It's really good to see some life being brought back. And it's something that I thrive on. Ladies and gentlemen, it's interesting to see how people that used to hate XRP are now flipping over, looking at how Bitcoin and ETH both tanked, and how money is trickling into XRP. They're cowering. They're afraid. They didn't expect Gary to come after ETH transactions and potentially make ETH a security. That's making them scared of Ether. People in the crypto market are looking left and right to try and find refuge. And it seems like XRP, which did not reach its all-time high and was in the middle of this SEC case, is the crypto that may lead the next surge. Now, something very important I'm going to play for all of you is Ripple's General Counsel, Stu Alderati, letting us know what he thinks as far as a potential settlement goes. Settlement rumors are in the air again. And if one were to take place now, right around now would be the best time. Please take a listen.
Yes or no? Any settlement on the table?
We've said publicly since day one that this case settles if the SEC makes clear that Ripple sales and distributions of XRP and XRP's trading in the secondary market does not constitute a security. If they're willing to acknowledge that, the case settles and settles very, very quickly. Without that acknowledgement, we have no choice to continue to defend the case, and we're defending the case not only on behalf of Ripple, we're really defending this case on behalf of the entire crypto industry. Because if we're not going to get clarity through regulatory rulemaking, and we're getting deliberate confusion brought upon the market. If we're not going to get clarity through the legislative process, and there's some good faith efforts to make that work, the only other place where you can get clarity is through the judicial process, the litigation process, and that's where we're going to get it.
Now look at that level of professionalism. Guys, it's funny to see how the big boys in the room is actually Ripple and not the US government. Ripple would settle this case if XRP is not deemed a security, but it's seeming to be that the worst case scenario is that XRP will not be deemed a security, and Ripple will only need to pay a fine. This is from BitBoy. The SEC basically gave up this week trying to prove XRP is a security. People in the XRP community can be pretty confident that the worst case scenario is a fine. I agree. And with that being the case, I believe this beast of a token is about to be uncaged. Now, before I continue, I have to say to all of you, I need you to watch the entire video, because towards the end, we're going to talk about September 24th and why that specific date is so important, and all of you need to be mentally prepared for what's about to happen. I personally believe a massive liquidity crisis is coming. Blockchain Backer has been discussing for quite a while now how he believes the stock market needs to hold, or we could be in for a massive collapse. I believe he stated The Dow Jones needs to hold 29,500. And right now, we're actually right below. We're at 29,465. If we recover real quickly, I think we'll be in the clear, but that's besides the point. I'm going to discuss with all of you why I believe this is massive and why I believe this XRP pump at the moment right now is no coincidence. Liquidity crisis was what XRP was meant to solve. It's an on-demand liquidity solution that I always believed was here to help us solve a financial collapse. I have stated this in my channel for the last 3.5 years, and now that it's finally happening, I'm in shock. Ladies and gentlemen, as this case is wrapping up, we're beginning to see a lot of people fudding crypto, specifically Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase. Please take a listen to this, and I'll explain to all of you why I see this as so bullish for crypto and XRP.
I'm a major skeptic on crypto tokens, which you call currency, like Bitcoin. They are decentralized Ponzi schemes, and the notion that's good for anybody is unbelievable. So we sit here in this room and talk about a lot of things, but $2 billion has been lost. Every year, $30 billion of ransomware, AML, sex trafficking, stealing. It's dangerous.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, right now, as Jamie Dimon is saying, crypto is a decentralized Ponzi scheme. At the peak of the 2018 bull run, Jamie Dimon stated he regrets calling Bitcoin a fraud and believes in the technology behind it. 3 months before this, in 2017, when Bitcoin was at a low, he called it a scam. Jamie Dimon's perception of Bitcoin seems to change based on the price. Jamie Dimon is the news for the classes. If you believe his words, you are going to get wrecked. The last time Jamie Dimon flooded crypto this hard, we went on a parabolic run. And right now, we may be in for that yet again. Something you all need to understand that's going on as well is this Cardano Vassal hard fork. Deployment has begun. And massive, absolutely massive changes are happening for the crypto industry. Congress is getting the pedal to the metal as far as regulation is concerned. And regulation is going to be nothing but bullish for our compliant tokens. Guys, something I want you all to do is listen to Stu Alderati and the rest of this interview that he had. Explain how Congress could need to step in and bring in guidance to this industry. The moment guidance is given to the crypto industry is the moment everything changes for the better. It'll be a bumpy road and volatile prices without a doubt. But trust me when I say things will improve when that happens. Please listen to Stu Alderati, and then we'll get into some crazy content for the day.
So first I want to agree that I do believe that this policy in the United States of regulation by enforcement is a failed policy, and it's creating havoc in the marketplace, and that havoc in the marketplace ultimately hurts the very retail consumer that the SEC purports to protect. I think what we're seeing is power and politics elevated over sound policy, and that is not a good thing. To your question, why Ripple? That is a good question. I'm not sure I have a good answer to it. What I will tell you is that the lawsuit was filed on December 22nd, 2020, on the last day of the prior administration when Jay Clayton was the chair of the SEC. The day after the lawsuit was filed, Jay Clayton left office, and within 2 weeks of the lawsuit being filed, the entire senior leadership team that was, I think, involved in the decision to file the lawsuit left the SEC. So why Ripple? I'm not really sure. I think we can all venture a bunch of different guesses. Maybe the SEC was tired of playing whack-a-mole with some smaller tokens, and they felt that if they could go after Ripple and indirectly attack the digital asset XRP, which Ripple relies on to facilitate its cross-border payments, maybe they thought that they can send a broader message to the entire market But I think what they've learned is that if you challenge a well-resourced company, that well-resourced company can put on a very robust defense and really expose the SEC that what they're doing in this case is not applying the law. It's not a faithful allegiance to the law. They're seeking to remake the law, and they don't have the power to remake the law. Only Congress can remake the law.
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a massive quote by Ripple's general counsel. The SEC is trying to remake the law, and the only people that can do that is Congress. Congress is still in the stock market, and that is an important point. They have not banned themselves from owning stocks yet. However, something powerful that happened in the Dow Jones is that if we do not ramp up quickly as far as prices are concerned, we may be witnessing the start of the Great Depression before our very eyes. And the fact that this is happening today does have me on edge. As guys, I'm going to get to the part of the video that might shock all of you. We are in what is called a Shemitah year, also known as a sabbatical year, which started last year, September 7th, 2021, and ends September 26th, 2022. To give you some context, these are some financial disasters and world events that occurred during Shemitah years. In 1916 to 17, 40% of the US stock market value was wiped out. In 30 to 31, 86% of the US stock market was wiped out in the worst financial crisis in modern history. 37 to 38, 50% of the US stock market value was wiped out. There was a global recession and World War II began. 44 to 45, World War II ended. There was a victory parade on the 29th of El, the last day of the year. 72 to 73, 48% of the US stock market was wiped out and there was a global recession. 79 to 80, a severe recession affected the US and much of the world. 86 to 87, 33% of the US stock market value was wiped out. 93 to 94, the bond market crashed. 2001, 37% of the US stock market value was wiped out. The Twin Towers were hit on 9/11 and there was a global recession. 2007 to 2008, 50% of the US stock market value was wiped out and there was a global recession. 2014 to 2015, a sharp fall in share markets at the end of the Shemitah year. This is not to say that there will be a financial disaster, but this is a warning that can help all of you mentally brace for nasty wicks that could be on the horizon. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm here to say to all of you. Mentally prepare, have a strategy, have some cash on the side to buy, and understand that at the very least, holding XRP as well as other utility tokens will get you through the other side of this relatively unscathed. I have zero in the stock market right now, as that is frightening to me. But crypto, XRP, I know that these will be the solutions to a financial catastrophe. We have been talking about a financial collapse for a long time. And here, it may finally be upon us. Now, a lot of you may be asking, Bull, but weren't you bullish on crypto? Of course I am. I still am. But I cannot affect these type of macro events. You guys see how the charts are pointing towards a potential altcoin rise, and you have seen how XRP has been exercising its right to finally run as this case is ending. Could it be that Shemitah ending and XRP being released from the SEC's grasp is all happening at around the same time for a reason in a coordinated manner? Maybe. But all I'm doing is I'm putting this information in front of all of you, letting you know the correlation of world events, dates, and timelines. And you guys can decide how you're gonna act. Me personally, what I'm doing is I sold 50% of the XRP I purchased with my most recent cash position 7 weeks ago. And I remember telling you guys I was doing that. I got laughed at, mocked, ridiculed, and now we're up 80% from that entry point. 50% of the XRP I bought on that day has been sold, and the rest is part of my long-term bags. Now, I have that additional cash on the side ready to buy anything in the form of USDC stored on my offline Ledger Nano. And in case things do crash on September 26th, I'll be ready to purchase. I've consolidated some smaller tokens into USDC as well. And the reason is because I'm protecting against anything that could happen. I am bullish on crypto and our utility tokens. But we have to mentally brace for any world events, any black swan events that no one can predict. Remember a couple weeks ago that the Pope instructed Vatican entities to move all funds to the Vatican Bank by September 30th. Something tells me it's in anticipation for whatever's going to be happening at the end of this Shemitah year. We also have to remember that on September 7th, just a couple weeks ago, Rosie Rios, part of the board at Ripple, she visited with the Vatican. I don't think that's a coincidence. And at the same time, we have the major event that Queen Elizabeth died. All these things happening at around the same time, in my opinion, is going to make for an earth-shattering event. Is the world financial reset? And is the world reset here? In my opinion, probably. We still have to wait and see. But I'm going to come here every single day and mentally prepare all of you and share as much fact and information as possible. Before then, if you own XRP, you're already godfathered into the new 1%. They threw this SEC case at you. They delisted XRP from exchanges so you can't buy it. We've already survived through all the worst, and now we're about to get nothing but the best. We deserve every dollar we're about to make. And remember, you did not get lucky. Now finally guys, to cap off this video for today, I'm gonna play you a clip of Brad Garlinghouse putting the SEC on their place yet again on Fox Business. But first, I have two brief announcements. First and foremost, my TikTok has been banned. I have made a new one. And if you aren't doing so already, click on my TikTok link below. Follow me there for short forum style content, as I'll be putting out about 2 videos a day to update you on what I see going on in the market. And in addition, if you guys haven't done so already, please consider joining my mentorship program down in the description below, where you get my consulting services, weekly Q&A sessions with myself within the Discord, lifetime access to the Discord community, as well as the Accidental Billionaire University, and in new courses being posted on the university as we speak. Guys, there is no better time for me to help people than when prices are low and when there's finally volatility in the market. These are the best points to help strategize exit strategies and also new entries. With the Shemitah ending, a potential market crash as well, this is where the real savages can be made. Take a look if you guys are interested, and I look forward to seeing all of you there. Now without further ado, please listen to Brad Garlinghouse put Gary in his place.
Jamie Dimon called crypto a decentralized Ponzi scheme yesterday before Congress. Why don't you react?
I read that. Look, I think very notable people, including Jamie Dimon, have called it a fraud. Warren Buffett, I think, had some negative comments.
Right.
Look, I think we've reached a point where we know this industry is not going away. It's here to stay. You're talking about $1 trillion of value. And I think ultimately these things, as we've talked about here on this show before, are going to be measured by what utility, what problem are you solving. And so, for him to call it a Ponzi scheme, there's 50 million people here in the United States who have direct exposure to crypto that might disagree with him.
Well, let's get to XRP because the Twitterverse is going nuts over your appearance right now on Fox Business with Charlie. And XRP, of course, the native coin to the Ripple. Tell me exactly why you think that this jump in price is happening. What news can you give us?
Look, it's hard to know. Honestly, I've watched crypto now. I've been in the business at Ripple for 7.5 years. I've been in crypto for about 9 years. It's really hard to know. What I would point to is a couple things. Before the SEC got involved
with you guys,
with us and ETH, because again, there's two factors here. One, XRP was the second most valuable digital asset ahead of ETH, and then around 2018 was a kind of a famous, now infamous speech that kind of anointed
Bill
ETH
Hinman of the corporation finance.
And so, look, I think increasingly as the summary judgment filings were made public, people realized that maybe the SEC really is overreaching. They really aren't following a kind of faithful allegiance to the law. And that's a quote from the judge in this case. And so I think people are realizing that, the
judge said that it might be. They might not be, right?
No, but the judge said is, one, the SEC is being hypocritical.
Yes.
And two, they said that they were not following a faithful allegiance to the law in pursuit of an outcome. And I think that's what we have here. We have the SEC, I think, has kind of lost its way. I said yesterday on stage, I think it's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I was going to ask you that. I mean,
I just think we have to remember the SEC gets its power from statutes passed by Congress. Congress gives the SEC power. The SEC can't just take power. What the power says today, for the 1933 Securities Act, said that you have to have an investment contract. So as you'll see in our motion for summary judgment, the first step of determining could XRP be a security is you have to have an investment contract. And our point is Ripple doesn't have a contract. With whom is the contract? It's not a written contract, it's not an oral contract, it's not an implicit contract.
So where we are right now in the case?
So the summaries for the motions for summary judgment were just filed last week. They were made public on Saturday, which I'll mention very briefly. We had agreed with the judge and with the SEC to release those on Monday. They jumped the gun. And it's just this constant, I think, disrespect to the court process, and which we've seen time and time again. The judge in this case has ruled 5 different times that the notes associated with that infamous speech we're talking about should be turned over to Ripple.
And
we still don't have them.
We still don't have them. So the case, she's going to make a decision on whether it goes to trial or not, or whether she'll just rule from the bench, right? So
I think we expect that there won't be a trial because trials and juries are really to determine if there's uncertainty about facts. The facts here really aren't very much dispute. The law is in dispute.
You think she's going to...
We think she has the information to make a ruling, and we think it's very clear that the SEC is grossly overreaching their authority.